Hello, hello, hello. It's your usual and favorite host of the Financial Freedom Now Show. My name is Toyin Ayandari. Super glad to have you back here with me on our property series. This is series 2 on the property series. The Financial Freedom Now Show gives you all things financial freedom. We talk about money mindset, how to get passive and active income, how to level up. We talk about every and anything that would help you get from where you are now to where you want to be. Welcome to all our subscribers, our usual listeners on either on the podcast or on the vodcast. Thank you so much for your commitment, listening, liking, sharing with your family and friends. And to all our new, if you today is the first time you're tuning in, you're very welcome. Thank you. Thank you for stopping by. We look forward to adding great value, making you have very, very good use of your time listening and watching me deliver the great value I have. I almost struggle to get my words out there. That's how excited I am to deliver this what I've got for you today. So today we're going to be talking about property. I mentioned earlier, I am, if you've not listened to the previous episodes in this series or even any of our other episodes, feel free to sort of pause this and go back and sort of join in the train. All I'm going to be talking about in the next few series is property. It's not secret that I'm a property developer. I currently have an 8-figure property portfolio built from scratch. So literally getting all the grind in and getting it all the notes and brought. And I am still growing. I want to grow that number. I also want to help you on that journey. So if property is an opportunity you're looking for, definitely you might not know this, but real estate is one of the most important and lucrative asset class that there is of it in terms of long-term building of wealth. And I am a big believer that building wealth through property shouldn't be for certain people. It should be available to all, the matter or the capacity you are going to be looking to build this at. So today, what I want to talk about is how to find the right property deals. Now, I hear a lot of people say, "Oh, I tried property, it doesn't work." Of course, you say that if you don't know what you're doing. So it is very, very essential that you're buying the right property. That anyone, and I repeat this, anyone can go on any of the property to any property agent or to any website and buy a property. There is no rocket science with that. There's nothing to do. But buying the right property, whether it be your home or your property investment, is key to making this work and making sure that you achieve financial freedom. In the last episode, I was alluding to the fact that every single home I have lived in as my own personal home, we've always used it as an asset because you know that if you do not know this, your home is not an asset, it's a liability because it doesn't make you money, it just takes away from you. But having said that, it's a liability that we all have to have because then you need somewhere to live in. So one of the things that I try to do is make sure I can make that liability sweat a little bit more. And one of the ways that I do that is by buying properties below market value, adding value to it, and then obviously meaning that I can increase the value of the home. But to be honest, I didn't start off that way. I didn't start off wanting to add value to the home and do this and do that. I started off just wanting to create my own stamp on my property. So when it comes to you buying your home and finding the right deals, if you're very particular about how you want your home to look like, then one of the ways to do that is buying rundown, date dilapidated property, rundown properties, and putting your own spin on it without, because obviously you can't really do that. Well, you can if you've got all the cash, but buying the property that is fully done up. Imagine you buying a new build and then taking it all over to bed bricks and starting over again. It's going to be pretty much a waste of money doing it that way. So we decided to buy properties that are run down and then obviously add value. But the second reason we also decided, and I say we because I do this alongside my husband Toby, obviously it's our home, and with the second reason why we actually look at buying rundown properties are it's a way of buying cheap, so buying the worst property on the best streets. In our situation, in our case, is buying the worst property in the best areas, and these are areas that maybe I don't know if it's the case for you, but certainly the case in our situation where we are in a position where we probably normally cannot afford the millions of pounds or whatever it is asking price in that area. And so the way to buy into such areas is to buy the rundown properties and being able to add value to the properties to get it back to what the value in that area would be. And so that's certainly how we've done it in the past, and not once, not twice, in terms of building the value on the property that way. So it definitely has worked for us. So if you're looking to buy your own home, then one of the ways you can do that is to buy a rundown. So look, in terms of looking for right deals, how to find the right deal, property deals that you say, oh, I have made money from property, is to buy a property below market value. And a lot of times it's because that property is run down. That's not the only reason why you can buy a property for cheap and cheaper. Obviously, sometimes it might be that a quick sale is required, and obviously and if you're able to move quickly or you've got the cash, you can obviously sweep in and get the property at a good value, and obviously then look to add value on the property. So that's the one of the ways. Now, this isn't just going to work for you if you're building your own home or you're living in the house. Specifically works when you're looking at property investments, which is one of the things we're talking about here. Financial freedom, how you can actually make this work, make your asset work for you. So let's pack for a second, put aside building your own home. I just give you that little nugget in there. Let's actually look at investment, because this is what's about. Let's see how we can actually help you achieve financial freedom. When it comes to actually finding the right deals, the very key thing you want to do is you want to, like I said, buy the worst property on the best street. Don't ever make a mistake of buying the best property on the worst street. You can always change a property, you can never change the location. So it's location, location, location is key. So in terms of the very first thing you want to look out for when you're buying properties is location. Make sure you're buying the properties in the best location possible. And I talked in the previous episode about your strategy, knowing what your strategy is. Also buy a property for the right strategy in the right location. I see people saying, oh, I would like to make this property an HMO, which is a house of multiple occupancy, and obviously with that you need a good footfall. You want the properties to be centrally located, and then you find out that they've bought that property in the woods somewhere. It takes about 30 minutes from any transport possible to that property. No one is going to go get that property for room shares in that location. So know what the strategy is that you're looking for, and make sure you're matching it up with the right property. So to look for the right, when you get seeking for the right property deals, location is key. Secondly, you want to know your numbers. Know your numbers. I always reiterate this to everyone that cares on my social media. And by the way, if you're not following me on social media, make sure to go over to Instagram. I am Icon T4 Family on Instagram. Go and search me up. Search up my name, Toyin Ayandare, on Facebook. I'm on Threads. I'm on TikTok as well. So go follow me on all of those websites, because you get a lot more from me. I'm there regularly, stories, my posts, and on lives, trying to give value where possible. So that's by the side. But I see a lot of people actually make this rookie mistake of thinking, oh, well, I don't know my numbers and I'll just go ahead and do property. No, you've got to know your numbers, know how the numbers stack up. It beats me when I see people buy properties at certain prices based on what somebody has said it would work, and they did not even crunch the numbers themselves. It doesn't. It's you don't want to join the many people who say, oh, property doesn't work. It does work if you do your numbers. I'm not saying there won't be challenges or you couldn't make mistakes. Absolutely, that could happen, but doesn't beat the fact that property does work. So know your numbers. I was sharing really recently from one of my mentees. So I have this mastermind group that I run at Icon Range, and for those looking to get onto the property ladder, looking to invest in property and learn how to do it. And one of the recent shares that I had was when I shared with one of I shared actually I shared one recently. I've not shared this one. It does occur to me. I had a quick one-to-one with one of my mentees, which is something we have a part of the package with the mastermind. And I was having a chat with her, and through the conversation, one of the properties that they were looking to buy already, they they had already committed to buying the property. Then one or two things that happened. I can't remember exactly what had been done, and it came to light something about the property, and that the agent, the seller wanted the property completed in a particular time frame, and they gave certain conditions, and they had been, after the valuation had been done, there had been certain things that had come up that my mentee was a bit apprehensive about. So I reassured them on those things because knowing fully well I'd gone through those things and I know it wasn't an issue at all. But then I said to them, use this as an opportunity to obviously negotiate the price, because obviously you're having to take on a headache of something that you weren't aware of in the first place. And and through that conversation, I think we must have had that 5 minutes conversation. I can't remember. They were able to save £8,000. Now this was more than double the investment they had spent just working with me for 6 months. But that's in 5 months I had saved them that. Now nothing beats knowing your numbers, learning how to crunch your numbers as well. Now I share that because I see a lot of people saying, "Oh well, I'll just try and do it myself. I just sort of make it work." And you can easily lose tens of thousands of pounds by not knowing what your numbers, by not knowing exactly. So I mean, the amount of times, and maybe this is a tip for you, the amount of times I hear people say, "Oh, I went on Zoopla and Zoopla said the property is now worth this amount." I'm like, no, absolutely. If you're listening to me on any of your podcast channel, you wouldn't see me actually the way I scream. So go over to YouTube and watch a video. Literally, my expression says it all. A lot of times I hear people saying going just by what a website. How can you trust a website that's never been to the property, doesn't know if the property has been demolished, doesn't know if the property is run down, doesn't know anything if the property, and vice versa, if the property, if you've added value to the property. Zoopla cannot tell that. Now, by the way, Zoopla is just one of the property search engine sites, and yes, I use it for a lot of our searches, but it just tells you a part of the story and you use it as part of your research. But that's not the only value. A lot of people do tell me, "Oh, I checked on Zoopla and property was bought for £50,000 in 1964, and Zoopla said it's now worth 1 million. So I'm getting it for still like 800,000." I'm like, really? Really? And some surprising that property might not even be worth more than 500,000. So it does really, really, it's important to know. You don't know what you don't know, right? So one of the things I say is make sure you take your education seriously. You might think you're saving a few £1,000s by not investing in your knowledge, by not investing in your education on how your numbers work. But are you really saving much when you're spending a lot more in terms of your numbers, in terms of the purchase price? So make sure you familiarize yourself with the asking prices of the property, knowing your numbers, crunch the numbers, find out how much it's going to cost to do the refurbishment, and obviously cost your time in that deal as well. There's no point spending that much time doing all of that work only for the property to be worth exactly what you had spent in it. Why didn't I just buy a property that had been done up? Do you understand? So make sure you know your numbers and make sure you crunch it properly when looking for the right property deal. Does that make sense? Okay. So what else are we looking at in terms of looking at deals? You knowing the market insights in the area you're looking at. Also, one of the things just occurred to me now, when you're looking at property deals and property prices in the area, please make sure you are comparing like for like. Again, that's another mistake I get people make. Compare like for like. It's very possible to say, "Oh well, there's a two-bedroom property in 5 streets away, so I reckon that's going to be the value." But are they the same property though? One of them could be timber frame, one of them could the other brick builds. They're going to be the price differently. As a matter of fact, I have I've got a number of properties on the street where the properties opposite it, the same street, are of different value. Some of them have got like the bay windows, and the other ones are just the flat. So the prices are different. Now, you and I can sit here and argue and talk about why it should be just for different, just because of a bay window, or wherever. But historically, the prices of properties opposite have always been more expensive. So if surveyor will go into that property and value it accordingly. So it's not something for you to then say, "Oh well, I think it's not about what you think." It's not. There is some mechanism, some sense going into the numbers you're looking at as well. So make sure not to make that mistake. I'm also looking at some of my notes um I've put down here for you. Again, when you're looking for property deals, do make sure to view the properties. Don't just go. I ask my agent for the information about the properties and do a little bit of research from them, but I don't rely solely on them, because don't forget they're a marketing agent, they're sales agent, they want to sell the property. So as much as you can trust them and they'll give you a lot of information, some agents won't tell you the entire truth. They want to make it sell, right? So they will tell you what would make your what you'll be interested in. Doesn't necessarily mean that's the entire truth. So whilst you can get some of your market insights from your agent, from websites, everything is all part of the truth. So make sure to make that. And the last thing I would say when it comes to finding the right property deals is do not scattergun. Stick to an area because a lot of work. You put in a lot of work to understanding that property trend, that market area, understanding what that happens and what happens in there, what strategies would work, how much properties are in that area, all of this research that you've done. You don't want to do that just for one property. You buy one property today, and then the next year you're buying in a different area and in a different area. Or you also don't want to put yourself in a situation where you're looking in this particular area, you've done all that research, you're looking in that area for about 3 weeks, and the next thing you just, oh, I can't find anything, I'm off again. Or 3 weeks is even a long time. Look, you see people look out for the property for 1 week, they've done all that time, all the desktop work, spend days in researching it. They go and view some properties, and because they get pushed back, they can't find what they want, or they get rejected on offers. Next week they're looking at a different area, next week a different area. It's a lot of work. And then what happens, you see that they now tends to be compromised in the research you do, because obviously you're just feeling overwhelmed. It seems like you're doing all of this work and you're still not getting the property you want. So that overwhelm sets in. Scattergunning is a no-no. We want to search, we want to choose our gold mine area, right? Based on all the things we've talked about: the right location, right price, market price for yourself, right strategy. And then you stick to that area, familiarize yourself with the agents there, let them know you that this is the area you invest. I invest in Essex and Kent. Those are the areas I invest in. And I mean, I don't have portfolio around the country, obviously, from when we started, and we're doing a little bit of stats going. So some of the things I'm actually sharing with you are lessons I've learned. So don't do what I did, do what I'm telling you to do, because obviously I have paid the price, I have learned the lessons, so that you don't have to learn those lessons again. You can learn from me and make it better. So I'll keep this short here in terms of you finding the right properties, tips for you to find the right property deals that work, that would make you money, and not have you going on social media saying property is a scam. It is not. It has made me millions of pounds, and I know it can do for you as well if you have the right strategy. Until next time, if you want any other information from myself, this is a property series I'm running, so I'll still have a few more episodes on property. But if you need any resource whatsoever from myself, you can obviously please get in touch. Get in touch. Let's hear from you. Comment on this if you're watching on YouTube. Comment on this post on anything you learned or would like to know more of, and also please share. But if you want more information on specific property strategies, so we run service accommodation, HMOs, house of multiple occupancy. We run the BRR strategy, which is the buy, refurbish, refinance, commercial to residential. I have free resources on all of this. Head over to bit.ly/icon free video. You join our mailing list, you get more information about our strategies, or you can certainly email us at academy academy at iconrange.co.uk for any property specific information. Until next time, my name is Toyin Ayandare. Thank you for staying tuned to our channel, and God bless you.